Rap ages.
I'm going down now, baby. Don't street in the Cadillac grills, Cadillac mills. Check out the oil, my Cadillac. Watch yourself, shake your ass. I came there with my front like they had the manpower lights. More or less, more so.
Rap ages.
How many licks does it take till I will be by your side? Till you get to the center of the Oh, my dog is bigger than hip hop.
Like going on. You say it's puppy love. We say it's full grown.
Season 3.
Luda.
Let's do it. All right. Welcome back to Rap of Ages. We are at season 3, our podcast. We are breaking down the best hip hop hits of Y2K, talking about what was happening, why it was popular, and where it all went wrong.
Where did it all go wrong, Brian?
Well, this week, when East Coast and West Coast, they kept fighting, and no one realized the South had something to say. So with that, I'm Brian.
And I'm DJ Turntable.
And I'm Jared Johnson. And if you don't know that late 90s and early 2000s hip hop isn't safe for work, small children, or your virgin ears, well, we don't know how to help you.
You're completely on your own. And as always, check us out on social media or wherever you get your podcasts. We're up on iTunes, Google, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify.
Hit us up on that social thing at ROA Podcast on Insta and Twitter, Rap of Ages Podcast on Facebook, Rap of Ages Podcast at Gmail, and of course, don't forget to hit up the reading list on Nook.
Hit us up on Nook. For the hip hop heads, we're still pumping out the Evolutions mixtapes on the same podcast feeds. For more and links to every possible way to listen, don't forget to check out the webpage, www.rapofages.com, or just shout, play Rap of Ages podcast at your device.
And you like the show, please tell people how awesome we are. Subscribe, rate us, write us a review, all that stuff that makes the internet things go boom. Please help us out. If you don't like the show, please give us feedback. One of our members, not naming names, Jared, has a pager, so please, he is always on tweet, bling, page. I don't know what a pager makes sounds, but he's got it all night long.
I'm on call.
He's on call. Beep him whenever you can, and let us know what we're doing, great or bad. Seriously. But as always, thanks for listening. So, I said we're hitting the South. D, give us a little bit more specifics. What are we doing this week?
Luda, AT Alien Intruder. We are going to the next biggest thing in the Y2K, fresh off the Versus battle with Nelly. We got Ludacris and Southern Hospitality. Welcome to the South. Please have an elbow to your face.
Roll them bows.
So, I mean, before I think maybe we started a little bit wishy-washy, I feel like we started this season so strong. I mean, Nelly, it was East and West dominate, but then like all of a sudden, like Midwest, the South started coming out, and they're just like, fuck you. I don't want to be East. I don't want to be West. We're going to do our own thing. Nelly was hot. And dare I say, maybe Ludacris came out hotter? I mean, Ludacris came out hard, I feel like. I don't know how you guys felt, but like this, to me, this song and everything, I mean, this was the shit that was like, let's go. Let's get it. And like, I wanted more South. I wanted more Atlanta because of Ludacris.
So obviously Ludacris not the first big rapper from Atlanta or from the South. His predecessors, we're going to talk about some of them later this season. You got Outkast, you got UGK, you got Goody Mob, you got all these like really popular rappers that were doing their thing in the 90s in Atlanta. But what made like Ludacris coming onto the scene so special, so different? Because he really is a unique character.
Yeah. So if I could take that one real quick, so I would say that, so Ludacris, aka Christopher Bridges, born September 11th, by the way, shares a birthday with our man DJ Turntable. I didn't know that.
Oh, hooray.
I didn't know that. So as you mentioned, Outkast, it's pretty amazing where you listen to all the Southern rap interviews and they all go back and they all say basically Outkast helped pave the way. Everybody traces back to Outkast. That's like the lineage for Atlanta for Southern hip hop. It's Outkast. So, but when you talk about the other founders that make Atlanta hip hop and the Southern hip hop big, Ludacris is spoken in the same breath with Outkast, which is pretty damn amazing. I think Ludacris is, can I call him, he's the king of the singles? Ludacris has had a ton of different albums. He's had 7 top 10 records. He's had 2 number 1 hits, 5 platinum albums, 8 platinum singles. I mean, this guy has had, it is a lot of Atlanta sound. It's just it's everything that you wanted it to be. What made him special to me was a lot of his comedic style too. He made a lot of hip hop a lot more accessible. So he is, again, great singles, not a lot of classic albums, but his comedic timing, his really really slick rhyme style really helps to make it more accessible to, I would say, to the masses. Which I thought he always started as a DJ and became a rapper. Ludacris always plans for the future. So he is someone who, he wasn't a DJ who became a rapper. He actually was somebody who was a rapper and tried to understand what he could do to get into the rap game. So what he ended up doing was trying to get an internship, or he got an internship at Hot 97, the main rap radio station in Atlanta. And then he actually ended up interning there so that he could meet all the big people, because he knew all the big people came through that rap station. So he could become a rapper. So he DJ'd and interned there to become a rapper, which of course clearly it worked, because that's where he ended up getting on Timberland's records, to be able to get out with the first single that he had. It was Fat Rabbit, where the first major track that he was on, which kind of paved the way for his first album, or his first major album that we're talking about, which is Back for the First Time.
Yeah, I think you're right. He is definitely a planner, and he just seems like a really smart guy in just how he went about going to get his music out there. And obviously, thinking about it now, it's like, of course, if you want your music on the radio, what better way to do that than to be a DJ? You can play whatever you want. And also, I think he studied music management at Georgia State University for a couple of years too. So I'm sure he picked up a lot of good business ideas from that.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to like the sound of the time, and like in the late 90s, you talk about a lot of the East versus West, and then, getting into some of the more Southern rap. You've got Juvenile coming onto the scene. You've got the New Orleans sound we talked a lot about. Nelly comes out this year with the Midwest sound a little bit. And I think what makes Luda different is exactly what you said, just the comedic value of it, and like being able to be simultaneously a gangster rapper and a funny rapper, where like not everything he did had to be so serious, and yet he still had this hardcore side to him. So like if you listen to his albums, like half the tracks are all about like thugging and like guns and being hard and the street life, and then you just got like songs that are just fun and silly to be fun and silly, because he's just rhyming to put words together. He talks about one of his favorite tracks being Mouthing Off on Back for the First Time. And that's just like him in the cypher, someone beatboxing the beat, and him just like saying funny stuff over the lyrics, kind of like battle rapping, but not like, I'm going to murder you battle rap. It's more just like, let me make some funny words, some funny jokes, put it together, and like, let's enjoy it. So it's kind of like a love of the art that you get from Ludacris. And coming out of all that, you get like a little bit, yeah.
I make you eat dirt and fart.
That's
dust.
right. I make you eat dirt until you fart dust. Like, it's the coming out line. And, you just got stuff like that where it's just fun. It's like, watching like, someone who's really a great athlete just having fun on the floor. And Luda does that a lot on the mic.
Yeah, and I think the sound is different from the East and the West Coast. And I think when we were talking about Nelly last week, his sound is a little lighter and more fun. And I know Ludacris in an interview said he's trying to bring a lightness to this, but I think that the actual lyrics, the actual content of the songs are lighter and are funny and just kind of more upbeat than Nelly. Whereas the sound was fun and the kind of sing along of country grammar, but this is the actual content is just you can laugh at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's almost like he wants you to laugh at it too. Where like there's some of that stuff where I think we even talked way back in season 1 where we joked about Manny Fresh and Juvenile, where Manny Fresh's lyrics on Back That Ass Up are funny. And we're like, do you think Juvenile meant it to be a funny record? And Manny Fresh was like, I'm being funny because Juvenile's funny. And like, where they were like, oh wait, bro, you were serious? This is supposed to be a serious song? Oh, my bad. I didn't know any better. Is like Ludacris knows that like part of what this is let's not take ourselves too seriously, and like he actively engages in that and wants you to appreciate that you can still be street and still have fun.
So why was this song popular? We're talking Southern Hospitality. This is it's an interesting track, right? We had a lot of good tracks we could have picked from this album. You know, What Fantasy was on this. You had Ho, which does not age well. You have a lot of really great tracks, but like this song is special.
How I always felt 20 years ago was Ludacris is the greatest singles artist. And if you made a greatest hits Ludacris album, it would be the greatest album of all time. Like the guy just knocks out of the park. But as he creates like album over album, there's always 5 songs that you're like, oh yeah, and then there's 5 songs you're going, oh god, no. And then other ones you're like, they're fine.
What I thought was interesting listening to that interview is he talks about his first album as like the culmination of about 8 years of work. And you know, you're rapping right before you get a record deal, presumably you're rapping for some time, you've got a lot of material, and you're like, this is the face you want to put forward to the world. And he talks about like, you know, just being so excited to get all of that like out there. And then like you listen to some of the other songs on the album, you're like, 8 years? And like that's what you had to say about farting dust?
That's the most important thing that you had to get off your chest?
In like 8 years, like that's what was building up. And like I love Ludacris and like I take nothing away from him as a rapper, but my point is like a lot of his songs are just like, you know, he's throwing stuff out there, he's rhyming to be fun, he's got a great delivery, but like he's not like this, you know, deep storyteller in any way.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this album is essentially just Incognito repackaged, which I think is just incredible. I've never even I'm not sure if that's a common thing. I don't think I've ever heard of that, but they basically just took his album that was already out. He got signed to Def Jam South, and they're like, "Yeah, that album's good. Let's just call it something else." And then now it's platinum.
It's the sweatsuit all over again.
I'm back, but for the first time.
I know, it's such a great album title. It's like perfect.
Right. And I think, what did they put? Fat Rabbit was like the only difference on this one,
and
maybe?
that was from Timbaland's album.
Right. It was Fat Rabbit was his first single. But yeah, that was Timbaland's song that he put Luda on, and that was like one of the first things to make him popular.
Yeah, just well done to I think it was, they said Scarface, like Russell Simmons kind of tapped Scarface to head this Def Jam South up, and Luda already had his DTP label, and they were just like, yeah, let's get this guy on it, and let's take that album and just call it something else and make it a hit.
Why make an album when you can just sell an album?
When you already have one and you can just repack it.
Hey, we could just make money off this, so what are we doing here? Is that him just dropping bows on all of us? Is that what he did when he came in the spot?
He didn't give a shit. The industry. Def Jam South dropped bows on all of us when they made us buy 2 albums.
Let's talk about why this song was popular, shall we?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So I'm going to start with this and let you guys jump on this, but A lot of people call this like the African American anthem of the South. Debate.
I love this song. I can appreciate like if this is the song of the South, like not growing up in the South, obviously, like you didn't know the song or the sound before this, but it was definitely different than anything else that we were listening to or that I was listening to at the time. This isn't Mace, this isn't Bad Boy, this isn't DMX, this is Ja Rule. This isn't Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. It's completely different. It's something fresh, something new. It kind of goes back to what Andre 3000, 2000, I think at the time, was saying, is that they're not trying to get East or West. They're not trying to be East or West. If the South has something to say, like, we don't have to impress you. We're just going to be our own thing. And I think that they are. Where Ludacris benefits here, though, is to me it's his accessibility, because he is actually probably of all the people we're going to talk to, I think one of the more eloquent rappers that we're actually going to cover. He is really clean with his diction, which makes him a much more accessible artist.
Jared, what do you think? How does this stack up to the white anthem of the South, which of course is Freebird?
Right. Or Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely up there. I was trying to think of some other anthems, but this is a club banger. Like, it's almost a definition. And you know it is because not only is he telling you to throw bows, which is just what you now can do in a club, like people are getting up on you and throw some bows, but in the chorus, like some other songs, he shouts at the dudes and then he shouts at the ladies, and that immediately makes this like an interactive song and a us versus them kind of a thing, and it just, it's just gonna bang in the clubs, and it did.
It's just got like all the references to things people were into, right? It's grills, it's pimping, it's ladies, it's, all of the stuff that people, like, for better or worse, were about. And he's just coming out and saying it. He's not hiding it in any way, and he kind of goes through, especially in the second verse, we can talk about a little later, but just throughout the song, the whole song is essentially like a laundry list of things that make one Southern and African American and proud and fun loving and like just, a regular person. And it's shameless in that way, right? It's funny, it's shameless, it's got a hot beat. I know this is the year of Pharrell, right? And like, this is a really simple beat, really hot. It's got the comb music.
Yeah.
A little bit of deep bass, boom, boom, boom.
But I hear you though, right? Is that so? It's such a great merging and like introduction to the nation in terms of, it's like Pharrell. This is the year of Pharrell, right? I think, and the Neptunes and that Neptune sound. So it takes that Neptune sound, but then it definitely keeps itself. I mean, so you think of like, so the lyrics is, as they've kind of talked about, and I know that we're going to get into, is it's a lot about like the Southern, the kind of the urban kind of feelings and the thoughts and what they're looking at, what they're feeling at the Cadillacs and everything. But then the chorus really, really covers it with throwing them bows. I mean, you think about like when you hear throw them bows, when we were back in high school, right? Seniors, what did you think about? You thought about like the Atlanta Falcons, you thought about Jamal Anderson, and you thought about like the Dirty Bird, doing the Dirty Bird dance. And like that Dirty Bird touchdown dance, like that was Atlanta. Throwing the elbows out, that was Atlanta. Like at that time in the 98, 99, 2000, 2001. So, I mean, the entire chorus is, we don't love them hoes, we throw in them bows. Like it's just, the entire thing comes back to Atlanta, being Atlanta. And that's what I think introduced people to the area, but then also resonated with people who are from that area, because it was like a stand up, this is your time.
Luda.
So let's talk a little bit about the track itself. What Luda was thinking about, what he's talking about here. There's a lot of good jokes in this song, a lot of great lines.
So many good jokes.
Jared, kick us off.
Yeah, so it does the whole song just drips the South. Like you said, it's just the first
Drip
verse
drop.
is coming immediately Cadillac. And I think that this song, like lyrically, it's fine. You know, it's not super complex. There's not some deep message, but his voice and his delivery, and the beat, it just that's I to me that's what makes the song. And just I can hear, that just the way he says Cadillac girls just coming in, like it's just so ludicrous. And his voice, you wouldn't know that he would sound like that looking at him. I've always found that interesting about Ludacris. He's got such like a deep, booming voice, and the way he finishes, he has a little like southern twang, little flourish on a lot of the end of these lines that I just think are just very unique to him.
Yeah, you're touching on the one thing like I picked up. If you read the lyrics and you listen to the song, it doesn't add up because the way Ludacris says these words is so much better than the way any of us could do it or anyone else for that matter. So like he just something about his delivery just makes all of these songs special. Whereas like, yeah, the lyrics, if you look at them and any other rapper tried to do it, wouldn't come out the same.
Yeah, it's like the first verse. I mean, he's essentially talking about his Cadillac and his rims. Then he moves on to the women and some sexual references. But it's that his delivery of it is what makes it. And I do love. There's a couple fantastic lines in this song. One of them being any stank puss make my long john pause. That's very special line. It's part of his. It's just funny. He's just very clever in his lyrics and the similes and metaphors that he uses.
But and it's also the way that he delivers it. This is, I think, the genius of this song. And the more I listen to it, and again, it goes back to how much I listen to it. I probably listened to this before we signed on. It's a 5-minute song. I probably listened to it 20 times. That's not a joke. So if you do that math, we're probably talking about an hour and a half of Ludacris of this one song, Southern Hospitality. It's the beat never changes. His like staccato, or like the way he says each line, never changes. But it's still so lyrically interesting. It's amazing. It's always Cadillac grills, Cadillac mills. Check out the oil my Cadillac spills. A couple lines down. Pretty ass clothes, pretty ass toes. Oh, don't you love these pretty ass hoes? Yeah, it's amazing the way like the way he can say this stuff, and like he never changes. The only thing he really does is he starts out a little bit I would say kind of monotone, and then he gets more excited and he puts a little bit more excitement in the words he's saying as the song goes on. But other than that, his pace never changes, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's almost complex in his simplicity.
Yeah,
How he just keeps it the same, but it's still interesting.
totally.
But he never like overdoes it. He like gets on the verge of being like too clever and then just brings it back, which is great. So if you look at the line of like Long John pause, women on their cell making Long John calls, which is like you're starting to get a little deeper here. Okay, they're calling their Johns, long distance, interesting. And then, if they like to juggle my Long John balls. Like he just goes right back to it.
Let's not forget it here.
Let's not overthink what we're talking about. I'm going to remind them I'm talking about a long penis and the balls.
And the balls.
Before we get to the second verse, I do want to say, like, it took me probably 100 listens to pick this up in the first verse, but the 20-inch thighs make 20-inch eyes, hoping for American 20-inch pies.
That's a big vagina.
Um,
Please go on.
It's also an amazing movie reference to a film that came out a year before of American Pie, and just brilliant. It's I'm going to have sex with a pie, which is also 20 inches wide.
Are you sure that's not a giant vagina reference?
Well, he has a long john, so he'll be fine. It's all going to work out just fine.
He does tell you multiple times on multiple tracks that it's over 9 inches. So good for him.
As he said before, hey, a red carpet dick, it just rolls out.
Hold up. Go ahead and scream. You can't hold out.
Roll out. Is that what that song's about?
It probably
I don't-
is. It
Oh
probably is.
man, that just blew my mind. I got to go back and listen to that.
That's from What's Your Fantasy?
Red carpet dick, it just roll out.
Roll
Go ahead and
out.
scream. You can't hold out. We can do
But so like you get into verse 2, right? And it gets into the like there's a lot of things that he says that is again it's accessible. I will say before I start reading lyrics, this song is the reason why. Now we're getting into personal stuff from high school. This song is the reason why I started going to the gas station and buying Swisher Sweets. This is
Yes.
right because there's so many fucking other options, and when you're 17 or 18 and you're just trying to fake, you don't know what to do. When Ludacris comes out and he's saying, "Get the Swisher Sweet box," when he's saying, "Hand me down flip flops, hand me down socks, hand me down drug dealers, hand me down rocks, hand me down a 50-pack Swisher Sweet box." If it's good enough for Luda, it's good enough for me. So the
That is
reason
true.
why.
Yeah.
The reason why I would go and buy like the Swisher Sweet cigars, not because I'm trying to roll anything, not because I even know what the fuck I'm doing, because I am only 17 or 18 years old. Ludacris told me to smoke Swisher Sweets. So you know what, sir? I will do so.
What's brilliant about those lines too is it's just a direct hop on pop rip, which is amazing.
I think this is the best verse. This is the Southern verse to me. Like this is just, he starts out dirty South mind blowing, dirty South bread, catfish fried up, dirty South fed. And this is, I think this is a brilliant line. Sleep in a cot picking dirty South bed. Like that's just so many levels. It's just brilliant. And then the hand me down stuff and 40 Glock Cal, keep your mouth on hold, lie through your teeth, you could find your mouth cold. And then what is more Southern than sweating in the heat? You're talking about lemonade and tea, sweat from the hot sauce, sweat from the D. I mean, it's just,
That's a big
it's
dick.
fantastic. It's just fantastic.
You forgot about my other favorite line right between the two of the 50-pack Swisher Sweet box. Goodfellas, rich ninjas, hand me down stocks.
Yes.
That's where it's smart, it's funny, and the more you listen to it, the more you're like, God, this is. To me, Ludacris is a lyrical master. Now I'm kind of bringing it back to like the other shit. The only place that Ludacris ever goes wrong for me as an artist is there are some songs that you want to love, but he sucks at writing a chorus. Like a lot of sucking at writing a chorus. Like the worst one I think of is that blow it out your ass. Like that's a song that's so good, and you want to bump in your car. You want to turn the windows down and turn that song up. The beat's good, the lyrics are good, and you're like, man, this feels it. And then you're at a red light and you see this old lady right next to you, and you hear blow it out your ass. You're like, turn it on.
You just want to get Ludacris and Eminem, put them on a song, and allow nobody to do a chorus.
There is no chorus. No
Just
chorus is
keep
allowed.
rhyming, both of you, and just forget about a chorus.
But you just want to say, like, but to go back to Southern Hospitality, like, I love the fucking chorus of Southern Hospitality. And you're like, dude, let somebody else write your hooks, because when you have a good hook, like Southern Hospitality does, it's a fucking smash because you're fucking great. Like, just let somebody else do your hooks and just you do everything else, please. Please stop writing your own choruses.
I don't hate this chorus. I think this is a
This was
good
amazing.
club chorus.
That's why this song is good.
Yeah.
Dare
You're
I
saying
say.
that
I'm saying
and
that this,
the Snoop Dogg reference, if you a pimp and you know to love them hoes, that's I like his Snoop reference there.
there's so many good references in the chorus, in the verses. I mean, it does, like, it's an homage to appreciation to the West and the East without necessarily placating and trying to be West or East. Like, he is very clearly his own thing. Basically, like, he is the reaffirmation of Atlanta is different. And that was what attracted me to a lot of the sound. Is like, it's new, it's interesting. You didn't have to know the history. Like, you are watching history as a lot of the stuff was coming through.
Yeah, and he does have just fantastic references. And in the third verse, he gives a shout out to the Neptunes, and then the Afro chicks. I let my soul glow from my Afro chick. The shout out to Coming to America. He must love that movie, because on the next album, his whole song, right, is a whole song, just shouting out to Zamunda,
Which, like, Royal Highness,
clean, Your Highness.
It's a fantastic movie. You can't blame him for that. I love how he shouts that out, and I love the overall country, overall jeans, overall Georgia, we overall clean. That's also just a fantastic line.
So he kind of takes what Juvenile does in Ha, which is just every line is ha, but he uses different words and then rhymes them together 6 times and then chooses a different word, which is like very Southern rap, but so much more creative and so much more fun.
Because I love that. I love it so much, where he's not rhyming the end of it. Like, let me know ha, let me show ha. It's a no ha. But he's taking the same word. And I'll go back to the beginning, because that's like the easiest
It's
one.
better poetry. It's better. It's more interesting.
I'm going to pick a word at the beginning to focus on, but then I'm going to rhyme thoughts and feelings off of that word. Cadillac grills, Cadillac mills, check out the oil my Cadillac spills. Matter of fact, canopy Cadillac kills. Check out the hose my Cadillac fills. Like, he doesn't rhyme Cadillac with Cadillac. He's like, the focus of this line is going to be the Cadillac. Next focus of the next line is my 20 inches wide, 20 inches high. That, like, it's fascinating, to your point, like, lyrical, just artistry of, you're just taking a theme and then you're rhyming off of that rather than trying to rhyme the same word at the end.
Luda.
So does this song go wrong at all? Where does it go wrong? You mentioned some of the other tracks on Luda's albums. Many of them go wrong. The Ringer just did a whole article about like how poorly a lot of his songs have aged. I don't think this is a song that ages poorly. Here's what I will say, just to kick this off. While we're in the third verse, overall Georgia, we overall clean, Southern hospitality, or overall mean. Well, there's not a lot of Southern hospitality if the first thing you're doing is throwing elbows at me. I don't feel welcome.
Well, he's only throwing elbows once you get on the floor.
That's right.
So if you don't want elbows thrown, stay off the floor.
You will shake your hand as you walk in the door. Just don't get on the dance floor with him.
Look, I'm a good Northern boy, but I thought Southern hospitality involved inviting me to the porch and giving me some sweet tea. And I don't see that happening in the context of this track.
Listen, as you said, you could sweat from the lemonade, and you could also sweat from the tea. You can sweat from the hot sauce, or you can sweat from the dick.
That's your choice.
That's what he means. That's my interpretation of his lyrics.
It seemed less like an offer and more like a threat, and I didn't feel particularly welcome.
I don't think this song goes wrong anywhere. I think it's just a fan. There's nothing wrong with this song.
Oh, thank you.
Although the video is fun and it's ludicrous. The only thing that bothers me in the video is that the girls are chasing after him and he's like on the run. And so he must have done something, he must have dogged one of them or both of them. But the one girl is smiling the whole time she's chasing him. I don't understand that. Is she pissed off? Is she pissed off? She shouldn't be smiling. That this girl was just having too much fun just running in the music video.
It's a weird music video. It's not great. It's not terrible. It throws in a random musical interlude from the song Ho for no reason. Ludacris is upside down. He looks very young and has a questionable mustache, but
But you can't take anything away from this song for the video, I don't think.
No, you really can't. Like, it's not, he gets to next level on music videos a few years later and like gets into like all the CGI and the big head and all the weird stuff.
Right.
Big arms, yeah.
He does later. This is like very early, very young Luda. Just like this video is exactly like what you would have envisioned, like 19-year-old or however old Luda was at the time, like pitching, like, we're going to show some Cadillac grills. There's going to be some girls. I'm going to do some rapping and we'll call it a day.
Yeah. Strippers.
We'll go back to the club and throw some bows.
This song, like we talked about, like staying power. Like I wasn't making it up when I said it 10, 15 minutes ago. I literally listened to this song. It's a 5-minute song. I probably listened to it 20 times on repeat before we ended up hitting the record button. Like this, I couldn't do that. And again, like, how much do I love Cisco? I couldn't do that with any other song. I know
every single part of the song is strong. Every verse is strong. So you listen to it, you're like, all right, that's hot. It's a hot hook. And then you're like, oh, this verse is even better than the last one. Let's keep going.
Well, and to that point, like, how long have we been talking about where a lot of these songs, the problem with the staying power is the length of the songs in these late 90s, early 2000s. This song is a 5-minute song because you needed time to have a music video. And like the music video is like, fine, it's cool, it's whatever. But like now, if you want to have a good, successful song in this day and age, you got to be 3 minutes or under. You got to be 3 minutes and 10 seconds. That's what makes Spotify. That's what makes the playlist. And like, so this song, like I sat there and like a lot of the songs, you're like, it's great, but maybe I wish it was a verse shorter or two. This song is not one of those songs. There is no point in this song that I get bored. You're like, oh, it's been 5 minutes. It's over already. Oh, fucking fantastic.
I think the song actually could be 8 minutes longer. I don't think I would say that about too many songs, but like if he did a full like R. Kelly in the closet 8-part version of this song, or
God,
like
I love that song so
right,
much.
or like the 9-minute remix of "Whoa," where every single rapper gets on the track and like it keeps going, and the beat is so hot that you'll listen to anybody rap over it.
But like the more you listen to it, the more it's like it's amazing. Again.
That's my point. I want like 5 more verses.
Yeah, you want 5 more verses. You want 5 more minutes of the song. But nothing changes, right? Like he did, other than like the crescendo of his voice
over a 16-bar Neptunes beat. Like this beat there is nothing to it. It's like literally like 16 bars, and it just keeps repeating, and it's still great.
And like the staying power of this song, I want to literally sign off. I want to socially distancing and acceptable. I want to put on my mask, of course. I want to go to the big tree down by the Buffalo Bills stadium. I want to go to the big tree. I want to put this song on the jukebox, and I just want to drink a bunch of beers and throw darts and just throw bows.
Throw darts and
fucking
bows.
Song. Throw darts and bows. Maybe all at people, I don't even fucking know. But this song is just great all the way through. Like there is nothing wrong with this song. Big.
All right. So how many bows are we going to give the track? And I'm going to start with Jared, who lowballed Nelly last week, and see where we're at.
You know, thinking about this
Fight me,
before
bro.
we started this recording, I was a 4.5, but I've amended my decision, and I'm gonna give it 5 bows.
Nice.
I mean, it's a great song. It ages. I can listen to this all the time. He's clever. There's just great lines in this song, and it's a great song.
There it is.
Yeah, it's a five bows for me too, for all those reasons. There are very few 4.5 to 5 minute songs that I want to listen to longer, and this is definitely one of them. I get hyped listening to it still 20 years later. I listen to this album pretty much every day driving to high school. still love some Ludacris, even though not all of his are hits. This is definitely one of them. It's definitely one of his best songs, Five Bows.
I'm gonna give it one bow. I actually think that it's not that great. It
It sounded like you didn't really like this song very much.
I'm kidding. If I can give it a 6, I would.
11 bows.
11 bows. There are 11 elbows coming out of my speakers right now. It's fantastic. There's no other way that you could do anything else. Ludacris has done some questionable things. This is not one of them. This, I feel like, put him on the map. This helped put Atlanta sound on the map. This song is just perfect through and through. On the top 10 songs of all time of like the next 5 years that we're talking about, this is on that list. That's how strong I think this song is.
Boom, boom. All right. Well, this has been Ludacris Southern Hospitality. Thank you for listening. I hope you're all safe
Luda.
wherever you are.
Year 2000, I mean, they're all the songs are going to be straight hot bangers, right? Like, we just named like 2, Nelly and Luda. We just named like the strongest cats, right? I mean, from here on out, right? They're all top of the charts. They're all five bows, 5 stars.
They're all
I'm
going to
sure.
be great.
I'm sure.
They're all going to be amazing.
Nothing in the year 2000 went wrong ever.
So what have we got next week, Brian?
Shake ass, watch yourself. Shake ass, tell me what you're working with. Shake ass, watch yourself. Shake ass, tell me what you're working with. I came with my dick in my hand.
Don't make me leave with my foot in your ass.
Be cool. He's effervescent and he's off that crest.
He's actually a full-grown German Shepherd.
Keep stepping.
We're going to keep it south because why not? It's fun. South is fun.
There is nothing quite like watching yourself shake your own ass.
Shake yourself, watch your ass. Show me what you're working with. Shake ass, watch yourself. Shake ass, tell me what you're working with. Shake ass, watch yourself. Shake ass, tell me what you're working with.
Be cool. I'm not sure if this is still going to end up on the podcast, but do you guys know that Ludacris opened a chicken and beer restaurant at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport?
I was like, that's so good, and I
went to the website, and the little blurb on the website says, "The next time you're traveling through Atlanta, parentheses, where the players play, be sure to stop for a hot bite, cold drink, and our one-of-a-kind dedication to Southern hospitality."
Oh, so it was welcoming the whole time.
Yeah.
Good to know. I bet they make great chicken and beer.
I sure hope so.
Good night.
Boom.
Good night.